What up？ 大家好，我是锁头，好久不见，非常感谢你们的抖内。Also, a big shout out to all you guys who shared and liked this video. So, the final showdown between Johnny Depp and Amber Turdenstein has begun. And last night saw Team Heard's last-ditch effort to waste our goddamn time, who in the end have the exact same thing in common with Dr. Don Hughes. Let's see if you can spot it later on in the episode. And when it came time for cross-examination, Camille Vasquez wasted no time grinding them into pieces. But before the grinding begins, we have an announcement to make. After almost half a year, we finally got a proper pay. So for 1 minute, sit back, relax, and smash that like button. The Depp versus Heard trial is coming to an end. And many people agree this trial has more drama than even Netflix. And you know what else has more drama? Amazon, son. Just last night, I watched The Northman, which is an epic revenge tale featuring drama, Vikings, and most importantly, blood. But here's the thing, if you're in Taiwan, then you've got to wait until July before you can watch it in theaters. Or you can use the same VPN I did, Surfshark, to watch it right now. Surfshark enables you to discover and watch your favorite foreign TV shows and films, and you don't even need to buy a plane ticket. Sign up for a single account and share it across unlimited devices. It works on all platforms including PC, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS, Smart TVs, Amazon Stick, Apple TV, Chrome, Firefox, Xbox, and PlayStation. And with 24/7 customer support 7 days a week, any issue you got, they'll resolve it fast. And the best part is their strict, no log, no track policy. They do not store your personal info. So sign up now for a 30-day trial money back guarantee. And I'll even throw in a promo code, SONA420, to help you save 83%. So get started with Surfshark and never miss out on your favorite content again. All right, let's get down to it. So Team Heard's first witness was an orthopedic surgeon who examined Johnny Depp's medical records after his hand injury. Now, there are two things you need to pay attention to. The first is what the doctor says about Johnny Depp's hand position. The second is how much knowledge Amber Heard's lawyer has about sea animals.
Did Mr. Depp's finger injury happen as a result of a vodka bottle being thrown at him?
No.
You said the hand resting flat on the bar. Can you show the jury what direction the hand was resting based on the documents you've reviewed?
I think that the demonstration was with the hand flat, like this, across and maybe even curled over the edge of the bar like this.
Which side was facing upward? Which side of the hand?
The back of the hand, or we call it the dorsal surface of the hand, was up.
So you referred to the back of the hand as the dorsal side of the hand, is that
That's
right?
correct.
Sort of like the dorsal fin on a shark?
Correct.
Fair. And what is the other side of the hand called?
The palmar surface.
Palmar? Okay. So what direction was Mr. Depp's hand resting on the bar?
So the dorsal side was up, which with the descripted mechanism of injury or the injury, the bottle would have struck the top of the finger at the fingernail.
So, an expert witness with years of experience. Sounds like this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. That is until Camille Vasquez stepped up to the plate and knocked his shit all the way out of the ballpark.
You said you reviewed Mr. Depp's video deposition, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you said you reviewed Mr. Depp's testimony at this trial, correct?
That's correct.
And was that also a video of his testimony?
Yes.
And you testified that Mr. Depp demonstrated that his hand was flat on a surface, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's not entirely accurate, is it though?
No, his description was relatively consistent in both, including turning and resting the hand on the edge.
Isn't it true, Dr. Moore, that when Mr. Depp did the demonstration in his deposition, he showed that his fingers were hanging over the bar?
Well, even hanging over the bar, it still leaves the dorsum of the hand or the nail vulnerable.
That's not my question, Dr. Moore. My question is, isn't it true Mr. Depp said his fingers were not laying flat on a table, they were hanging over the bar?
Yes.
And in fact, you knew that when you made that opinion. Isn't that correct?
Well, I believe that as I demonstrated sitting here, that I said that he had said they were slightly curled over, I think was the description that I gave.
Your description in this courtroom was that it was laying flat, and I think you've done that now twice. But in your deposition, you testified that his fingers were actually hanging over the bar. Isn't that correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Misstates the witness's testimony. He clearly indicated they were curled. Or could have been curled.
Overruled.
That's a distinction that perhaps I misstated in one of the two descriptions. However, that does not substantially change my opinion of the impact it would have on the mechanism.
Isn't it true that Mr. Depp also testified that the bottle came from an off angle?
Yes.
And you consider that in rendering your opinions today, correct?
It was off angle, yes.
Okay. So it didn't come from the top, as you previously testified just a few minutes ago, correct?
Well, no, it would have struck the top of the finger, but it may have been slightly off angle in its approach based on the description.
Mr. Depp described it as off angle, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Moore, is it fair to say that you have no personal knowledge as to how Mr. Depp injured his finger in Australia, correct?
No, I have no personal knowledge. My impression is based on his description of the injury and the available medical records for review.
But you weren't in Australia with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, correct?
I was not in Australia, no.
And so therefore you have no personal knowledge as to how that injury was sustained?
Correct.
You also never personally examined Mr. Depp's finger, did you?
Correct.
You didn't examine Mr. Depp's finger at the time it was injured?
I did not.
And you never provided any medical treatment to Mr. Depp in connection with his finger injury, did you?
I did not.
Based on the pictures that you reviewed of Mr. Depp's finger injury, you cannot determine what particular object caused the injury to his finger, yes?
Well, I can't determine exactly what object did it. I think that I can say with confidence that the described mechanism of the bottle hitting and shattering the finger was not consistent with the appearance of the injury.
I understand that.
And
My
I think
question is just very specific. You can't determine the object that caused the injury to Mr. Depp's finger. A bottle is a foreign object, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So you can't rule out that the injury to Mr. Depp's finger was caused by a vodka bottle, correct?
Well, based on the injury pattern, I can say that the described mechanism of injury is inconsistent with medical findings.
Right. But because a vodka bottle is a foreign object, you can't rule out that a vodka bottle is what caused Mr. Depp's injury.
Well, I can't rule out that a vodka bottle caused the injury, but I can rule out that it was caused in the manner described in his testimony.
All right, so our girl has got the doctor cornered. And not only did she get him on what he just said in his testimony, but in this next clip, she's about to get him on what he said in his deposition. Now, it's about to get a little hairy, as upon Camille's attack, it appears that she is trying to keep some information from getting out to the jury.
Do you remember giving testimony in this case, Dr. Moore?
Deposition?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And you were under oath, correct?
Correct.
But you can't rule it out completely, right? Answer. I can't rule anything out completely. I can't rule out that he caught it in the door, cut it with a knife, or slammed it in the car door. Or, again, as Dr. Gilmer said, we can't definitively say what caused this injury. Did I read that correctly?
You did. I mean, I think that it's quite likely that the initial mechanism described at the time of presentation of the accordion doors would classically create this injury pattern. You know, the hand up in front. If you picture accordion doors as the edge is closed, if the hand's up, the palm is exposed. If the door's pushed,
But,
the
Dr.
hinge
Moore,
closes about the fingers.
I understand that. But my question is,
I think it's important that they understand that.
this is the time for me to ask you questions. Your counsel will have the ability to rehabilitate you and ask you questions on redirect. Right now, let's try my question.
Okay.
You can't definitively say what caused the injury to Mr. Depp's fingers. Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Boom, Camille got him. But if you're like me, you must be wondering, what was it that the doctor needed to say that was so important? Well, the lawyer is about to argue his case when he steps back in and allows him to finish his statement and read the rest of his deposition testimony.
Now, Ms. Vasquez wouldn't let you finish when you were trying to explain to the jury how Mr. Depp's account of injuring his finger in an accordion door would be perfectly consistent with the photographs you saw. Could you please explain that to the jury?
Well, so again, we tend to try to believe patients. We hope that they come in with an honest history initially, and that's a reasonable mechanism for this to have occurred.
Can you look at page 164 of your deposition, the one that Ms. Vasquez just showed you?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to object on hearsay grounds.
Your Honor, she only...
Overruled.
Thank you. Ms. Vasquez asked you a question, and then she read your answer, trying to impeach you, but she only read half of the answer. So I'm going to read the whole answer to the jury, and I'm going to ask you to tell me if I'm reading your answer right, okay? The question is on page 164, line 4, but you can't rule it out completely, right? And you answered, I can't rule anything out completely. I can't rule out that he caught it in the door, cut it with a knife, or slammed it in the car door. Or again, as Dr. Gilmore said, we can't definitively say what caused this injury. And then you go on to say, this is where Ms. Vasquez cut you off and didn't let you finish.
I don't think that's in the transcript. Objection.
I'll sustain that.
The rest of your answer that she didn't read to you, Dr. Moore, is the question I can answer is that the mechanism that was described by Mr. Depp and demonstrated by Mr. Depp is inconsistent with the injury pattern that's found on the images and the description. Did I read that right?
Yes.
And does that remain your opinion today?
Yes.
Has anything that's been presented to you on cross-examination changed any of the opinions that you hold in this case?
No.
I have nothing further. Thank you, Dr. Moore.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, so the doctor's expert opinion is that the injuries don't match that of a vodka bottle. But just like Camille pointed out with Dr. Hughes before, he was not there and he did not examine Johnny Depp. So there is no way for him to know for sure what really happened. Now, Dr. Moore's testimony, although it had a few flaws, was fairly reasonable in comparison with the next doctor, who I will only call Dr. Strange. I seriously think this guy might be on more drugs than Johnny Depp was. And later tonight on our next episode, you're gonna see this guy cause so much trouble that even the judge calls him out on his bullshit. This guy is literally a walking multiverse of madness, and we have to split it up into 2 parts. So stick around with that, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace!